Hey guys, it's Carrie, the Invisible Goddess, and today we're going to talk about my sewing machine stable. So why are we going to talk about that? Well, number one, I just got a new machine, and that caused somebody to ask me, how many machines do you have? You know, is it getting excessive? To which I responded, you're a hater. But there are reasons behind my machine, so I wanted to share them and share how many that I have. I think it's a good number, but really anything more would be excessive, and there's only one machine. There's like one other machine that I would actually buy, and we'll get into buying versus being gifted also. So let's just start with that so I don't forget. So the only machine that I would actually buy, reversing in my head already, I might like a cover stitch machine. I can't justify the $500 to $1,000 that I would spend on a cover stitch machine, and I'm fairly certain that if I really wanted to, Emily might let me use hers or work out a deal that I rent time on it and compensate her in non-cash ways, probably. Or I could just pay her cash if that's what she wants. Anyway, so that's the really probably not going to get. The other probably won't get because I won't find it in the price that I actually would want to pay, would be a Serger featherweight. So I'll insert a picture of them here. It would be a vintage machine. It's a teeny tiny little cute machine. And that's why I would want it, but I already have a 3/4 machine. I think a featherweight is a half size machine, and I'd have to look that up. But anyway, it's like a bucket list sewing machine. All right, so those are out of the way. Let's get to what do I actually have. And we're going to start that off with the most recent one, which is my Brother 1034D Serger. Actually, let's not. We'll talk a little bit more about the machines before we get into naming them off, and it'll be quick. So how many machines do you actually have, Carrie? I have 7 currently. So I have 2 Sergers and 5 sewing machines, 4 of which are in the house. One is at my dad's. My dad does my maintenance on the machines. First off, he's, mechanically inclined and I am not. He's used to dealing with like dialed in specifications for what he did before he retired. And it gives him something to do. And he feels like he's helping me out because he is. So I might be going over his house today to drop something off. So if I do, I'll try to grab some video of that one. So 2 sergers, 5 sewing machines. Did I buy all these machines? No. The sergers. Actually, that's not true. I bought 3 of them, now that I'm thinking about it. So with the sergers, in August of 2019, because it wasn't 2020, I wasn't doing anything then. So August of 2019, Emily let me play on her Serger. And of course I fell in love with it, so I wanted one. And she told me that she got her FOF. I think she has a FOF. But I also want to say it might be a Husqvarna. correct me in the comments, Emily. So she let me play. I had lots of fun and said, I need one of these. And she said that she got hers for $50 on Facebook Marketplace. So of course, I went to Facebook Marketplace. And I was able to find one in... I live in Baltimore, so I went to Pennsylvania. It was the closest one in the price range that I wanted, which was around $50. And that is what I paid. I think the lady wanted $60 for it. Before I went to get it, I asked, you know, will you take $50? And she said, yeah. So I drove an hour to get it. Not a big deal. I think Emily drove an hour in the other direction, Virginia or something like that. Maybe Westminster. Not like you guys know cities in Maryland. So she drove to get hers, and you know, of course, I'm a bit of a follower, so I did the same thing. And I got it, and it's a fancy machine. It is a 5-thread versus the 4-thread that I just bought. Emily's is a 4-thread. The 5-thread is like a one step above. It's like a professional version with still being a domestic. or it's not an industrial, put it that way. I got it threaded. It's threaded correctly because it's making the stitches correctly, but I couldn't figure out the tension on it. So I'm thinking that it has something wrong with the tension. Timing. I'm sorry. I think there's something wrong with the timing, which is throwing off the tension, because otherwise you just, you know, F with the tension. So anyway, she's volunteered to, you know, let me drop that off, and she'll mess with it and be able to figure it out. That's Emily. I'm not forcing my dad to work on the Sergers. I mean, mechanically he could probably do it, but you know what, even with that, he's not messing with the threading on any of the sewing machines. He's, you know, telling me, I have it cleaned, it's ready to go. Come make sure that the stitches are fine, like after the cleaning. So I think the timing's off on one of the sergers. I just bought another serger. And then I have 5 sewing machines. So I have a Singer 99K-13. It is 99 years old right now. I got it last year. No, I think it was the year before. I think it was 2019 that I got that. Yes, it was, because that was the first one we got taken care of. So a neighbor had that up in their yard sale. They put it on the screen. I was actually at a gaming convention that day, so I couldn't come get it, but I had I had responded to their post, I'm interested in that sewing machine, but I can't come till whenever, you know. So if they were going to sell it, that was fine. Otherwise, I had dibs on it. And they didn't sell it, and they were moving, like this was their last day in the house. This was just stuff that they were leaving. Anything else was going to be taken to like Goodwill or something like that, donations. So they left it on the back porch. I went and got it. It has a nice bentwood cover with it. It is a knee lever machine. It did not have the knee lever. So I took that one to my dad to clean and get fixed and stuff like that. And he figured out a way to test it without having the lever. Like he could make it go because he set something up within the mechanisms or whatever. I don't know. But he showed me that he could make it move without having the lever. Of course, I can't use it without the lever. So he's like, I really like this machine. I want you to go find the knee lever for it. So the machine itself was free. I got a $50 free shipping knee lever on eBay. And I hemmed and hawed over it because I wasn't sure if it was the right one. It's a little, like, it's a circle with a key kind of thing at the top, so it's got to be the right one. And we looked and looked and looked, and there's a male version and a female version, and I think I needed the male version, and we couldn't quite tell from the pictures, but took a shot, and it was actually what we needed. So I have that one. I have sewn on it. It also has something challenging with the tension disc itself. So I don't, first off, I'm not used to using a knee lever machine. That one I would use for like sewing leather. Like it's heavy duty. It's meant to go through all that kind of stuff. Obviously I'd have to put the right needle in it, but so I don't usually use that one. I have used it, you know, once I got it to the house, but that's not my go-to machine. That is my specific to a purpose machine. There is the Singer I talked about. It is very heavy and I don't want to move it. So is this one. So I'm just going to insert pictures of them. I promise you the sewing machines are inside. They're just too heavy to move. Okay, so what's next? Emily. You're seeing a theme here? Emily is such a bad influence on me. Emily gave me her husband's great aunt's sewing machine because it matches my sewing room. So the craft room has teal walls, which you'll see next part of the video. And like this machine, it's a Hoschel cone, is the badging on it. I think it's from the 50s and it is absolutely gorgeous. Like to me, when I describe it to people without having a picture to show them, it looks like the car Christine if it were a sewing machine. Like that's the kind of styling that it has, and it's gorgeous. So that one, I can't use it because I don't know how. It's a regular domestic sewing machine, but I think it might have a clutch that I have to figure out how to engage, because when you press the pedal, the motor goes, but the needle doesn't move at all. So, and it needs to be rewired. So that one's project. I can't overload my dad because, I mean, he takes 6 months to clean these machines and give them back to me. So I'm not giving all of him, or I'm not giving him all of my machines at once. He don't want them like that anyway. He's definitely doing me a favor by cleaning and fixing the machines for me. So those are the two oldest. And then I have my mom's Kenmore and I have my grandmother's Kenmore. So my mom's mom and my mom. I have both of their Kenmores. My mom's machine I do have back with me. My dad cleaned it. It's wonderful. Like it sews so nicely. Much better than my contemporary machine. So the Kenmore is, I want to say both of them are from the 70s. My grandmother's might be from the 60s. It's definitely not from the 50s. In my head, it's definitely not. But like that's the time frame of those machines. So they're vintage. Also, because the other ones are vintage, they're just really old vintage, or antique. Maybe we'll call them antique, and the 70s are vintage. So my mom's, my dad took care of, and it's funny, my parents are divorced. My dad's cleaning, he's like, this machine looks familiar. I'm like, you probably bought it for her. She got herself a new one a couple of years ago. It gave me this one. So yeah, I'm sorry. The machine Emily gave me, she gave me. I didn't pay anything for that. I haven't put any money into it. My mother's and grandmother's machines, I didn't pay for those. They were free. I don't think they need any parts. So my mom's, it can handle a dual needle, so it has two spindles. One of them's broken off. I don't normally use that. I can always use a stand if I were to use the double needle setup, which also brings me back to, do I really need a cover stitch if I can figure out how to use the double needle on one of the machines? Talking myself out of the cover stitch. I don't want to waste the money. If I'm going to buy another sewing machine, it will very likely be an industrial, and I can't actually fathom myself doing that because I'd get the table, it would take up so much room, and how the hell am I going to get it up my stairs or into my basement, because I'm not having it on the first floor of my house. So yeah, back to the current machines. So my dad cleaned my mom's machine. I do sew on that one. That is my primary machine right now. So when you see the videos and you see the heavy duty looking Kenmore, that's my mom's machine, or what I'm referring to as my mom's machine. It is my machine now. And I sew on that one, but not exclusively, because it takes different feet than my contemporary brother does, and I don't have a zipper foot for it, or I probably would use it exclusively for the most part, 80% of the time. All right, so that's mom's machine. We have my mother's Kenmore. Should probably clean the outside. My dad cleaned the inside for me. So this is such nice stitches on this machine. Love it. And this is what I was talking about, that one of these spool pins, if that's this thing, there should be one there also. And it's I don't know if you can see it, it's just barely broken off right above. So my dad wasn't able to get it out, because I'm sure you could just, put another one in. He'd have to drill it out, and I told him, don't bother. So on this machine, it is this machine is a 148.15. Okay, hold this still. This machine is a 148.1560 serial number. Then I have grandmom's machine. That's the one that's at my dad's, being cleaned for the last 6 months. Must be filthy, right? Again, I mean, unless my dad has them, I don't have the accessories for that machine. You know what? That one might have it in the little flip up thing. Technical term. There's a compartment on the front for the accessories. That's what the flip up thing is. So my dad has that one. So that's 4 machines. So this is my grandmother's machine. It is a vintage Kenmore that is currently at my dad's house for cleaning and any potential repairs. And it is, let's see if I can find the plate on it. It isn't here's my hand, which I'll measure when I get home. So this is a 3/4 machine. So it looks like less than 2 of my hands. And I don't see the plate for it, which means it's probably underneath. Oh, you don't need it. He has the book set up. So let's look at the book. It is a model 1050. And the case, which I'll have to see that, but it has this pretty rose flower design on the case, which is why that's on the book. So yeah, here's the case. Isn't it pretty? It's kind of interesting and difficult to figure out each time how to get it in and out of the case, because it doesn't sit in there. It like locks in, and the bottom is empty because it's the bottom of the machine. So the bottom of the case is empty because it's the bottom of the machine. Which brings me to the machine, the sewing machine that I actually purchased. And it's the second machine that I purchased. So it is a base model Walmart Brother. Like, I got it at Walmart. I want to say it was on sale for like $60. 12 years ago. I've never cleaned it. It is filthy. It sounds horrible. And I am a bad machine owner, and it is, for the most part, in timeout right now because I can't get the tension in the bottom bobbin correct. I've messed with it and I've got it better, but it's not 100%, and it's probably because the machine is filthy, which, heads up, making a video on how to clean your machine, because I have to figure that out. Because I can't just give my dad all my machines. Anyway, so that contemporary one, I have all the feet for. I was about to say foots. I have all the feet for that, and right now that is what I'm putting zippers in with. Okay, so that's all the machines except the Sergers. Next machine is a contemporary. I'm going to call it contemporary. It is 12 years old. It is a Brother LX3125. Fashion faces. I could have changed these out. I still have the stickers, I just never did it. This machine has never once been cleaned in the 12 years that I've had it, which probably explains the tension issues that I'm having. So the most recent purchase is a Brother 1034D. It is a Serger. Sergers, sorry, I'm really not trying to get naked for you guys. Sergers make a different sort of hem. So this is a serged edge. So the reason I purchased these two Sergers, I purchased the second one because I couldn't figure out the first one. The reason I purchased a Serger is because I want to be able to make clothes. I had such challenges with the original one that I purchased that I was a little more scared than I should have been of the current one. So the current one's the Brother 1034D. I have a video on how to thread it now that I have figured it out. I wanted to hopefully help some other people figure it out, because once you know what to look for, it's really not hard. Like, seeing, like, visually, your own eyes is the worst part, and that's because I'm blind. You know, these are pretty strong glasses. They're new glasses too, by the way. So, like, once you know the correct path, the path is easy. Getting it in the right spot is the challenge. So I have made stuff on it already now that I figured it out. It sat in the box for a month, and then it sat unthreaded for a month. But now that I have figured it out, I'm using it, so that's good. All right, guys, this is my Brother Lock 1034D. It currently lives in my living room, which is what you do in a living room, right? Anyway, it's currently in the living room because, well, first off, I was watching TV while I was making stuff, but I don't have room in the sewing machine. I need to rearrange some things to have only the working sewing machines set up. So, but this is a working sewing machine. No, it's not. It's a working serger. overlocker if you're not in the United States. I have it threaded. Note to self, fix that before you want to use it when you pull it up. That is the number one reason why I have to keep rethreading the machine, is because I don't bother looking at that. I really should put a note on here, but pretty easy machine to thread and use. That is my number one problem. And that brings us to it's called a Burnett by Bernina. So technically it's the highest name machine that I have. It also is vintage. From the looks of the video, because I had to track down a video on YouTube, which I'll link below. So first off, I don't forget where it is, and I'll have an easy way to get back to it. But I do have the manual for it. Wasn't very helpful. The manual for the Brother Serger also wasn't very helpful. So I looked to the video, and the video is very, mid 80s. Like I'd say 84, 85 is about the time frame of that machine. So that is, pushing 30 years old. And like the machine itself was gorgeous. It was beautiful inside. Like it had been cleaned. So I really do think that there's something wrong with that timing. And I hope that Emily can figure out. So my second serger is a Burnett made for Bernina 335. It is a 5-thread serger. It does make the chain, so I know, right now I don't have it threaded, but it was threaded correctly, but the tension is off, so I think there's something wrong with the timing. Through the magic of editing, I'll have inserted clips to show you each machine as I was talking about them, but I want to know from you guys, how many machines do you have? What do you use them for? Do you have a hater in your life that's telling you you have too many machines? I'm just joking, love you. Yeah, so tell me about your machines. How many do you have? Do you have more than me? Less than me? Do you have the space for them? Like, this is my house. I can put whatever I want in it. If I want to have a sewing machine in each room, actually, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have more sewing machines than I have rooms in my house, because I have a small house. So I can't put one in, I can put one in every room, plus a spare. So yeah, tell me about your machines. I would love if you do a video and you show me your machines. Like, I like machines. I think they're cool. I think I would use, I didn't talk about that. Each machine would have a different use. For you guys, you sew like this, I keep calling them a hater. They're not really a hater. They just question, because that's what friends do when you care about somebody. So each machine would have a different use. I'm hoping that Emily can figure out the Bernina machine. I would love to use that as a cover stitch. I'm not sure that it's not meant to be like a convertible machine that you can use as a serger and a cover stitch. So like, that's my hope for that machine. Obviously it's right behind you. Obviously the serger, that is intended for me to make clothing and clothing type accessories. My mom's machine is more heavy duty, so I would be using that for like actual sewing and top stitching. My brother, once I get the tension, my brother's sewing machine as opposed to my brother's serger. My brother's sewing machine, I think that's great to put in the zippers. So that's 4 of the 7. probably going to keep the Singer as extremely heavy duty, like actual leather, versus my mom's machine. I have done suede on it before and it was fine. I probably should have changed the needle out, but we make it work. Which leaves Emily's great aunt's machine or something like that. I don't know, maybe I put a piping foot on that. You guys that sew, you know it's kind of a pain in the ass to rethread your machines and switch out feet. Like it's not horrible, but if you had, you know, let's just say the sewing machines, if you had 5 sewing machines lined up in a row, how much more time would you spend? Now, how much less time would you spend when you do production sewing? Like, I am a business, right? I'm a business, so I'm looking for efficiencies. So that's like one of the primary reasons to have multiple machines is you don't have to rethread and change the settings on each machine. They each serve a different function. So I'm saying it's not excessive for me to have 7 machines. Technically 5 sewing machines and 2 sergers, so it's not excessive. They each serve a purpose, and should they all be working, I will find a different purpose for each of them so I don't have to rethread and change the setup. So yeah, tell me about your machines. I'd love to hear about them. Either put it in the comments below, or if you have a channel, even if you don't, like you can, if you're watching this, you have a YouTube account, you can always upload your machines, and you know, I don't know how tagging works, so just if you want to do that, put the link in your comments so I can get to it, other people can see it, and I think that would be fun to see your machines. So yeah, those are my machines, not excessive at all, and I look forward to seeing your stable of machines. Okay? Peace out, homies. Bye.